Okay, so here I am with Amy, and we are in San Cristobal de las Casas in Chiapas, Mexico, and we are at the Steps Cultural Center, which is a center which is focused on the preservation of traditional Mayan stories. So Amy here is one of the founders of this organization, and she is next to this traditional Mayan altar with corn and copal, tobacco, and other things. And so I came to this center when I was first in San Cristobal and came to an amazing storytelling. And I was curious to do an interview with someone from the organization. So here we are, and I just wanted to ask you, Amy, a little bit about your story, who you are, where you're from, and how you came to be doing the work that you're doing now.
Okay, so nice to see you guys. I'm from Taiwan originally, and then how I come to here, originally I'm just a traveler, a traveling journalist, traveling around the world and doing different kind of non-government organization stuff and charity things. And then when I passed back here about 5 years ago, I found it really interesting. And then I had a chance to know some indigenous and make some contacts with them. After I left, and a year later I came back and know more about it, and I decided it's a good place and I should do something. It's a really rich culture, it's a really rich place. It comes with a lot of things, a lot of different interesting culture stuff that we'll never think about. And unfortunately, everything started to lose its meaning. So that's how I study all this project. We think education and culture is really important here, and we want to make it better. And then that's how we made our first story, and we started to go to the communities to give the classes, and then we start steps.
Okay, cool. So Steps was started about 5 years ago. Is that correct?
Well, 5 years ago when I started, it wasn't like this now. At that moment, what we did is with a bunch of volunteers from different hostels, we cook for children once a week or twice a week for the children who work in the street. And then that was the time when I was still a tourist. And a year later, I came back and really set it up as Steps in San Cristobal. And since then, everything changed. We think the most important thing here is about the culture and the education.
Okay, cool. So what Steps is has changed a little bit over time. So
Yes.
what is the mission of Steps now?
What mission nowadays is to preserve the culture and help the education. What we really wish is we wish every child can read his or her own culture.
Okay, very cool. So how does Steps do that? So there, I know that you work with Mayan communities. So you go there and do storytellings in different villages, and also you do storytellings here in San Cristobal, right?
Yeah, we have different parts. One part is we go to the communities to do investigation and to do the research and some interview with the locals there to record down the traditional stories to preserve the losing culture and make them into storybooks. And we use the books we make, like here we have, to teach children in the communities how to read, how to write, to help with the literacy rate. And that's what we do in the communities, help the education and preserve the culture. Meanwhile, in our office in San Cristobal, it's another thing. We have a story museum here and with a bunch of different cultural events with tourists to share what's a real indigenous culture, to help people to understand them better.
Okay, very interesting. And what is the future of Steps? What are your hopes for the future of this organization?
For the future, honestly, we really wish we can make the good work down here to really preserve the culture and improve how people identify themselves. Because as a lot of people here, they can see that in the communities, people they started to lose the self-identification. They kind of deny the blood as indigenous. They don't want to accept themselves as indigenous. So they also keep some distance with that, which make us lose ourselves, make us lose who we are. Only when you know you know who you are, you have a strong background behind you, your culture, your belief, your history, your tradition, and you are not gonna lose yourself in this world. And that's what we intend to do.
Okay, and it's a effort also in linguistic preservation as well, because the stories are available not only in Spanish but also in various Mayan languages as well. Is that correct?
Yes, we try to translate what we can into Tzotzil and Tenta. And also each time when we do the interview with the people there, most of the interviews are done with Tzotzil or Tenta, their own language, and we translate it into Spanish to show to the people.
Okay, so part of the works of Steps is going to the knowledge keepers, the storytellers in different indigenous communities, and recording their stories and preserving it for the future?
Yes.
Okay, and at the same time, then bringing those stories to different communities and teaching them to children.
Yes, of course, to help them with education. Because most of the communities, the children there, they don't have much resources, they don't have education. A lot of them, they never even seen a book in all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we try to do at least children, they deserve education, they deserve a book.
Very cool. Okay, so how can people support your work?
Now, of course, we are always looking for some publishers who can help us to publish our books in different countries, in different places, and also to check our page to understand more about the real indigenous culture, or come by our cultural center to learn something here. And meanwhile, when you are learning the culture, also help us to make proceed the work we are doing.
Okay, great. So people can visit your page on Facebook,
Yes.
and website is where do people find you?
Yes, you can just check us on Facebook's page, Steps in San Cristobal. Where there you can see a lot of the videos we've done, and also like some different informations, and also the stories in the communities, and the different information about how they do their ceremonies, what's the real life there. And meanwhile, you can always see our works in the communities.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you.